I think Meghan and Harry are hoping, and as I say, I've had this on good authority, that when the Queen dies, Charles will be open to allowing Harry and Meghan to be part-time royals, which is what they wanted from the start.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the most recent royal scandal with Harry and Meghan leaving the royal family, doing this big, bombshell interview. I mean, do you feel probably Queen Elizabeth felt the same way, furious that they kind of aired all this dirty laundry out there?
I'm sure, yes. And the other thing about Harry effectively leaving the royal family and going to live in America with an American woman, I think for Elizabeth the Queen, this has sort of frightening echoes of her uncle, Edward VIII, abdicating for, it's almost as if history is repeating itself. But I don't think she feels, I think she's a very pragmatic woman, very unemotional woman. Right. And I think the one thing that will comfort her about Harry going to the States is that he's not the heir to the throne. I mean, with her uncle, Edward VIII, it was a much more dangerous situation because he was the king. He was giving up the throne and damaging the reputation of the royal family. But because Harry's, he's the spare, not the heir, I think, she will be worried for personal reasons as much as for the public image of the royal family. And I think she'll be very concerned that this situation will continue and may get worse. But for the moment, because he's not the heir, I don't think it's a major thing for her to worry about.
Right. Why do you think the press and the people turned so quickly on Meghan? I think you're right that she almost kind of wanted to rewrite the rules a little bit.
Yes, I think inevitably, it was probably the best fairy tale royal wedding of the century because Meghan's background was so different. Here was this biracial American woman who was divorced. All these things would have been impossible. Someone like that couldn't have married into the royal family 20 years ago. But now it was possible. So it seemed a marvelously refreshing modern wedding. And it showed that the royal family in the important ways had sort of caught up with the rest of us. But I think you're absolutely right. What happened after the marriage was that I think Meghan found being part of the royal family absolutely stultifying because they were not prepared to change at all. They basically said to her, you have to obey our rules and we're not going to change the rules. And I think because that caused friction, a lot of people, I talk to people who work in Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace all the time. And inevitably, if there's friction, there's no point in getting people to sign agreements where they won't talk to the press. The stories come out of the palace, they get to the press and the media, and that's what happened. And Meghan was pilloried because, I think partly because she was idealized at the beginning. And this was a perfect attempt for the press, especially the tabloids over here who specialize in this, where, they build someone up because then they can knock them down. They can have two. And so Meghan set herself up, unfortunately. She set herself up for that perfectly because she did try to change things. And I think, to be fair to her, all she was really trying to do was trying to say, well, look, there may be better ways of doing things. We don't have to do everything in the way that it's been done for 100 years, just because it's been done like that for 100 years. So I think she was, to some extent, more sinned against than sinning, if I can put it like that.
Yeah. I mean, where would you say that this scandal ranks in terms of probably all the big royal scandals, Harry and Meghan leaving the royal family? Because, in modern day, this kind of, rocked the monarchy a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is a big scandal because Harry has become a loose cannon. They're very worried. We know his autobiography is coming out soon. The royal family are very worried because he's a loose cannon. They don't know what he'll say. And I think actually he's so cross with the royal family that there's a chance he may say things which are so damaging and will be so widely read because he's the author of the book, that it really could threaten, it won't be Elizabeth's reign, but certainly Charles's reign. But on the other hand, I've heard it on good authority that Meghan and Harry are hoping, because there have been indications that would allow them to hope, that when the present Queen dies, things will change, because we've already heard Charles say he wants to streamline the royal family, modernise it. I think Meghan and Harry are hoping, and as I say, I've had this on good authority, that when the Queen dies, Charles will be open to allowing Harry and Meghan to be part-time royals, which is what they wanted from the start. But of course, the Queen, who grew up with this sense that you're either in fully or out fully, she wouldn't allow. But Meghan and Harry think Charles may well allow this. And of course, that in itself will end up being a scandal.
Right. No, but that's true. But I feel like that in a way could help mend their relationship as well, since they've been so strained for, or at least, reportedly been so strained for so long.
Yes, I think so. I mean, and one of the reasons Charles is very likely to do that is precisely because it looks very bad for year after year to pass. And these close members of the same family are at each other's throats. That just doesn't look good. It would be better to say to Harry, okay, we'll do it the way you want to do it. You can be here for 6 months. And, I mean, the curious thing is not as if being a working member of the royal family involves anything politically sensitive or controversial, because really, when they're full-time royals, they open hospitals, they give their names to charities. So that it is possible that they could do that for half the year, and do their other stuff in America. I think it's when Meghan said or implied that she saw being a member of the royal family as a brand that could be used, could be monetized. I think that really frightened people. That seemed to be, in a way, the biggest scandal, bigger than the fact that there was this family rift. Right. Because although they're very wealthy, the royal family, it's a typical English aristocracy thing. They've got lots of money, but it's very vulgar to talk about money or to try and make money, which is a bit unfair. And Meghan doesn't understand that at all.